Hey, I got hit by a pickup truck, and I had a broken leg, had a concussion, and a big gash in my head. And I was in the hospital for about 3 days.
Okay.
And talked to a lawyer. He told me the most that I could get from the insurance was $10,000 for my injuries, $10,000 towards my medical bills, and he was going to close my case because the insurance company was ready to, settle on that and cut the check. And then a rep for the insurance company called me and said that the check has a hospital lien on it, and she said that the hospital is going to claim that money if my hospital bill isn't paid. My hospital bill is about $80,000. So what, if anything, can I do to get that lien removed?
Brody, there is a lot there. There's a lot going on there, Matt.
The questions right there, Brody.
In fact, I would say this would probably take us into our commercial break. Where do you want to start, Matt?
All right, let's first of all start with the first. I'll just take the kind of questions in order, or the
Okay.
issues in order. The first is what he was told, which is $10,000 available for him, $10,000 for medical bills.
Right.
What Brody, as you probably know, your insurance company or the person that hit you and caused your injuries, they have limits on their policy, right? And that policy sets out the maximum that insurance company will pay. Generally, it's $25,000 for kind of base coverage. Then it goes up to $50,000 and beyond that. So that's the first thing you need to kind of clarify with your lawyer. What you're being told is there's $20,000 total. That, find out, is that really the maximum? Have your lawyer kind of inquire. What they do is they provide a deck page which proves the maximum available. That's issue number one. Issue number two is, you mentioned the lawyer said, well, that's all we can get, we're going to close the case. Any settlement is always going to be your decision. Now, I expect that you would rely upon your attorney, his or her advice to kind of, but in the end of the day, the decision to settle, that's always going to be yours and yours alone. And sometimes, quite frankly, lawyers and their clients can get cross over that. Lawyer may say settle, you say no, and sometimes that's a point where lawyer and clients kind of split ways and say, you know what?
And you can do that.
And you can do that. And say, maybe, so that's okay. So that's just one thing you kind of need to sit down and talk about. Now, let's talk about the last part of the question, which is how much time do we have? Do we need to go into commercial break?
I think we can get if you can just talk a little bit about his end question was, I had it jotted down, what does he need to do to remove this medical lien? Okay,
well, it also goes back a little bit. The question is, most policies, car policies, let's just say, have what's called a med-paid portion on that. And they pay that, part of that policy basically says, it's usually about $5,000. It normally says, we will pay medical bills if you're involved in a wreck, regardless of fault, we will pay them, even if it's yours. But it also says, oh, by the way, if you recover, we want our money back. You have to pay us back some of that money. So once again, that becomes a negotiation between you and the insurance company. For example, a lot of times, Brody, with your injuries, it doesn't sound like you're being compensated in full, and so the general argument is back to the insurance company is, well, my client's not getting paid in full. Why should you get your money paid in full? And not only that, the lawyer's kind of doing the heavy lifting for both parties, seemingly his client, obviously, and then the insurance company. So that can be a negotiation as well, which is also how much do you have to pay them back.
So this is the contract lien that you were talking about earlier in the show, one of those.
That's right.
Okay.